it's, I've been locked up with, like, brothers from like, like Asian Crips, like
Yeah.
Mongolian boys, Menace to Destruction, URC, all sorts,
Asian
and
society. Right.
yeah, so it's just crazy, so,
Loud 'em.
but coming back out, I don't
Yeah.
see the same brothers that we were locked up, hanging out again, unless like you personally know them from the outside and your relationship is still tight. But other than that, everybody breaks out again, breaks up again, and goes their own separate way, back into the warring streets and things like that.
What up, loved ones? What it do? It's Patty Young right here. You know where I'm from. Thanks for tuning in. And if you're new to this channel right here, just hit the subscribe button real quick. Give it a like if you think it's cool, if you think it's real. Right now, I'm with OG Ptone from Fresno, man. And we're just right here to chop it up, talk about his past and what he's doing right now in the future, man. So, yeah, let's get started, bro. Introduce yourself to the viewers.
Yeah, my name's Ptone, also known as Ptone for short. Currently 27 years old, turning 28 in a couple of months. Born and raised in Fresno, California all my life. Have a pretty big family for how you had a standard Asian family, seven up kids, So just growing up, it's your parents always want you to be the best and never get into the street life and stuff. But growing up without like my father, at a young age, he passed away when I was like 10. So it's kind of like you have no guidance, you have no role model. You just kind of wander around doing things, making mistakes purposely, just for get attention or just to let somebody know that, hey, like you're out here, like you're struggling, you're hurting. And a lot of times, when situations like that happen, like kids, young teens, they fall into the streets and they really become, like involved in the streets because they find friends, they find family, they find, love, in the streets, and it gives them what they need. So they cling on to that, they hang on to that. Not necessarily saying that they're a bad person, like they're, just born bad or just out here doing bad. It's something that they were searching for, and it's just sometimes these streets offer what they were looking for: family, love, friends, somebody they could look up to. So with that, like a little bit of history, I was never raised up to be a bad kid. I was always, drilled in school, always pressured to get good grades, to keep my head in the books, and never really focus on, being out here running the streets or growing up to be, a mistake or things like that. But as eventually you start seeing the world more and more, you get run into all these influences, not necessarily blaming anybody, but you see a different side of life other than just being protected, from your parents and stuff. So when without both parents kind of like sheltering and keeping like the outside influence, you get out there into the world and you kind of experience everything. But it's not something that I regret. I don't regret any of the experiences I've been through, any of the decisions, whether they're poor decisions or good decisions that I made, because they shaped me to be who I am today. And so just growing up, I was always in school. I always kept my head in the books, but at the same time, without a father figure, without a guidance, I'm out here, I'm trying to earn a living. I'm trying to take care of my younger siblings. I'm still trying to, like figure out where I'm gonna go and like fit in, or who am I? So, I always, like run, you know, get good grades at school, but still out here
Bro.
in the streets doing,
Yeah, yeah, I can relate to a lot of what you're saying. Also, I guess like it's very important in the Asian culture. Education, without it, you're like nothing. You know what I mean? You get beat up, you
yeah,
get bad grades. Man, I could relate, bro. And your story, you lost your father. I'm sorry about that at a very young age. So it's like you look to the streets and you found your camaraderie and friendship at a young age, and this led you to hanging out with? Did you experience getting bullied by any other race or anything like that over
Yeah,
there
definitely.
yeah.
The part of town that my parents actually took us to go live was predominantly Caucasian, because he wanted us to actually stay out of the streets. So he actually moved us from like the west side, east side of Fresno to basically Clovis. Clovis is right next to Fresno. And so he wanted us to excel in school, get out of the streets, because he saw that we were getting older. And the older we get, the more influence we're going to see, and we start to understand what's going on in our neighborhood. So yeah, definitely got bullied throughout elementary school, middle school, high school. But that
Damn.
never stopped,
Yeah.
never stopped us from doing what we do, because, being at a predominantly Caucasian, like education schools, of course, us Asians, we're smaller, there's less of us. But what really made the difference was we didn't let one person go down by themselves, so we
Yeah,
didn't,
yeah, yeah.
if somebody picked on one Asian, they're picking on all of us, like it is what it is,
Yeah,
so
that's good to hear, bro. You guys are solid. I think it's that family-oriented mentality that we were taught as kids, and
mhm.
for thousands and thousands of years, especially in the Asian culture. That's how we survived in prison. We're solid, brother. We have each other's back till
Yes.
death. And like, we're not so focused as far as doing each other bad and backstabbing each other. We're not focused on that. We're focused on having each other's back like a family, like brothers. Yeah, man. So that's been happening in the streets also, and that's how you were surviving, by having each other's back.
Definitely.
And so, how did you end up? Of course, the street life is fun, the adrenaline rush, thinking we're cool. Did you find yourself going to prison, stuff like that? Can you tell us about that
um
experience?
yeah, so I actually ended up being incarcerated. The details I won't go into, but
Yeah, yeah.
being incarcerated, doing time, like I basically just held it down, whatever had happened, just take up, the consequences, and keep your mouth shut, and take care of what you got to do and hold
Just
it
do your
down.
time.
Uh,
Yeah.
it, it's just, it's totally different. Never thought that I was gonna get locked up and like see everything, but that itself is it's a life-changing experience as well, because definitely, it's another chance I got at life. I got, caught up in, the time I was facing was basically 25 to life, with all my charges, combined together. But, going through fighting the cases, going to court after, like month after month, it's not even, oh, I'll see you about 3 days or a week from now. No, when you go to court, they're like postponing yours till the next month. You don't even know if you're going to get out or
When?
not. You don't know.
Yeah.
So when am I going to go to prison? When am I going to get out? You don't know. You're stuck in limbo. So I did majority of my time in Fresno County Jail, still fighting my case. I did about like 20 months fighting my case, just because it's such a big case. Like the charges, everything add up to 25 to life sentences. So um, it took a long time. They were getting evidence, whatever they needed to do, trying to lower um, the offers, try to get a better offer, things like that. So just kind of waiting your time. Finally ended up going to get my prison number, um, and coming out. So I was sentenced to basically 13 years. But given the fact that California offers the strike law, taking a strike means it took 10 years off the sentence. And
Mm,
then also
okay.
the minimum of the charge that ended up taking and signing for was minimum of 3 years, average of 5 years, and maximum of 7 years. So they said, since I did the majority of my time fighting my case, every day that I was in county counted for 2 days of state credit. So that basically rendered it, time served after getting my prison number, getting evaluated, um, and basically serving another 2.5 years on parole, just to hit that average. In the event that I do violate, then I'll end up doing 2 more years to my maximum of 7. So Yeah, it's a eye opener because, like really, I didn't know when I was going to get out. I didn't even, I was hoping that I would get out, but you mean, you don't know,
Yeah. Woke you up. Damn, woke
Yeah.
you up to reality. Bro, I would like to ask, uh, how did you feel? Basically, because in the streets we hated each other, we killed each other. I know all about the monks
Mhm.
rivalries, man. It's crazy. And then going to prison, knowing that now we're all together, we have to stick together because of our small numbers, and to survive, we have to really, you know what I mean, be solid. And then going back to the streets, how did you feel, or how did you feel about that? Were you showing your other homies that this is how it's supposed to be, or
Definitely, it's a shock. It's totally a shock. We're out here in the streets, and everybody's like, like killing each other. Everybody's fighting each other. Everybody's chasing after each other, different sets. But as soon as you get locked up, and you're not running your street politics. You get in there. There's only probably about like, the max I ever saw was about like 10 monks together, in one single pod of like 72 other people. So at that point, like, you just kind of like, whoa, if you really have that personal issue from the outside, you either, like roll yourself up, and roll out, or you catch that fade, shake hands, and do time together. Because at the end of the day, nobody has your back. Nobody has your back other than your own people. And sometimes, it's a sad situation. Sometimes even your own people don't have your back. I've been locked up with, a lot of Hmong brothers from different sets, and they joke and talk in there about like warring on the outside and come here and then we're eating soups and slapping bones and playing
yeah,
spades and chess and checkers together, bullshitting around, so
yeah, yeah,
it's I've been locked up with like brothers from like like Asian Crips, like
yeah.
Mongolian boys, Menace to Destruction, URC, all sorts, um
Asian
and
society. I
yeah, so it's just crazy, so
allowed them.
but coming back out, I don't
Yeah,
see the same brothers that we were locked up, hanging out again, unless like you personally know them from the outside and your relationship is still tight. But other than that, everybody breaks out again, breaks up again, and goes their own separate way, back into the warring streets and things like that.
by the way, while we're on the subject, real quick, I want to take this opportunity to do a shout out also, that in the pin, it's just the real deal, because right, all these folks talking shit right here on the music video on TV showing their guns, that shit gay. Right there,
Mhm.
the real homies, the real G's. If you got a beef with somebody, you know what I mean, that you really wanna go all the way, go to the sale, and let's see who comes out alive, and that's just how it works.
Yep.
Yeah, and I just want to do a shout out, because all that stuff right there, that's like boo boo, hella boo boo.
Mhm.
I can't really say much because you're sensitive right here in this on this video on this platform. But anywho, pushing forward, brother. Uh, what did you end up doing on the streets to moving forward, forgetting about the past and transforming to a better person? Can you tell us about like the productive things that you're doing right now?
Yeah, definitely. So it started with being inside. You have to start making the change inside. Before I even knew that I was gonna get out, before I even knew that the case is gonna get closed. I told myself that this is not a place that I want to be. That I don't want to find myself back in here for not a reason of and that's worth it. In the event that somebody hurts my family, yeah, that's all the more than reason that I'll be happy to go back in and do time, if I'm able to protect my loved ones. But I wasn't going to be out here doing reckless things just to throw my life away, because the time you never get back. So I made that promise with myself, like, you know what, once I get out, I'm gonna do everything that I can to stay out. And like life works in different ways, so if I end up back in here, it better not be something stupid. So um I made that change within myself, inside, doing time behind like concrete walls. So, coming out, I was only out for like about 2 weeks, and then I went to get an employment. I went to a temp agency to go find work, and I got hired 2 weeks. Did about a month of temp work, and then I continued looking for full time employment.
Yeah.
better paid, and, just landed a job.
That,
And because uh,
that, that, that's crazy, bro. My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was just gonna
uh,
ask, did you have a hard time because of the police record? Did you have a hard time getting a they were giving you a hard time right there, or?
definitely, I went through about over 100 interviews. Every
Oh
single place I
wow,
went, yeah. So every
that's
single place,
crazy. Yeah.
I walked. Some of my very very good friends
Uh-huh.
that that are my brothers now.
Yeah, yeah.
They get my resume back. They drove me to my
Oh, I think you got on mute. All right, there you go.
this real quick. So, all right, sorry about that. But yeah, some of my friends, they bought me professional clothing. They took me to different places to go do my interviews. They'll pick me up, they'll drop me off. They've been supporting me. So the times that they can, I'll be walking. I'll take the bus. And just, hey, I see this Walgreens here. I'm just gonna go walk in and talk to the manager, drop off my resume, fill out an application. And I would do that everywhere, every single spot. Because once you land in a bus stop, there's stores, restaurants, like liquor
Yeah,
stores and all around you. So I stopped every single one, and I've been turned down so much because of my criminal history until I looked into industrial jobs, specifically in like heavy equipment, forklifts, and things like that. And the
yeah,
only reason why I got hired is because instead of talking the street language,
yeah.
I talk in a more professional manner,
All
because
right, like I
it's
feel
not
you. I feel
stupid,
you.
so
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
you have to change the way you talk, the way you answer questions, your demeanor, the choice of words you use, and with like having a high school diploma really helped too, and all the little stuff, little clubs or things that you may get involved in just to get out of past time. That actually really showed a lot. Like, whoa, like, yeah, this person may have been locked up, but like, he didn't have a whole rap sheet before, or like the way he speaks, the way he communicates, the way he shows himself, like he's really out here trying to get it, trying to better his life. Like, the two, you can't even figure that he was a person who got locked up by the way you're sitting in front of this person. So that's what really I had really had to change, instead of trying to continue talking the street language or trying to use specific words and things. I change myself. Like, what, if I want to be in a profession, I have to be professional. So you have to show up, some sort of educate, like just basically be real with yourself. Like, you're gonna go work a job. You're not gonna be talking slang, be cussing in front of your boss or in front of customers and things like that.
Yeah.
It's very unprofessional. So that's the biggest that really kind of tied and helped me find a final like full-time employment. And I was like, man, like this is really crazy. Like I never thought that I was gonna get like a job or anything, because everybody turned me down as soon as they see on my application, have you ever been charged for a felony, or you on still on parole or probation or anything, and they see it. As soon as they see that, their face
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
man, and it just didn't work. So
Damn. Understood. Understood. Uh, what about your rap also? Because I've seen your video. Can you tell us about your? Is that generating income also, or that helps, or something that you just love to do?
it's something that I love to do. Growing up, I've always been writing poetry,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
really record my first songs until like I was like 15, 16, and it just kind of stayed with me for life, and it will stay with me for life. It's kind of like a way for me to cope, go through things, and kind of express myself. It's like it's the things I can't share
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
people personally about me. I kind of put it in the songs, and when somebody listens to it, they're like, oh, I know him on a little bit more personal level. So as of right now, it is not it's not generating any income, in which whether it is or not, like, it doesn't make a difference to me, because it's something that keeps me sane, keeps me going, keeps my help me decompress and relieve stress. So
Yeah. And that's actually what some people would believe, including me, that your best investment is yourself, is our own brain. And for you, keeping a healthy mental health, that's what matters the most. And if that makes you, you know, we all do our things that makes us mentally stable, and you know, have protecting our mental health at all costs. That's what we do, because we understand that
Definitely.
deeply, especially being incarcerated, you know, being disciplined and stuff like that. Man, so that's cool. That's what's up. Is that how you met the homie Diversity also, or how did you guys connect?
We actually, yeah, that's how we met. He came out, and at the time I was out probably about almost a year before he came out. So I got back into doing music, and you know, started posting up more songs on online. And then he added me one day. You know, he heard my music through YouTube, and he added me on Facebook, and we started chatting. You know, and he was like, you know, you want to feature in one of my songs that talks about, you know, like we call it Mongmaka. That means um, imprisoned Hmongs. You know, so or you know, Hmongs in prison.
That's
So, you
right.
know, since we had that same experience, you know, we know how it is. You know, he asked me to join on his song. So we
Yeah.
definitely collaborated, and that's where it went. You know, and worked on a couple of songs together. He featured me on his last album, and you know, when I was up in Sacramento working, making my deliveries for my workplace and stuff, and you know, I was like, you know, I'm up here already. I might as well, you know, hit him up. Hey, you know, I'm in Sacramento, you know, do you want to like meet up? Let's meet up. And so, yeah, we met up, you know, just the two of us, not knowing what each other is like personally. So, you know, we met up, and, you know, like it was good vibes. You know, we talked, you know, and we got to know each other a little bit more. We didn't talk about, you know, oh, what set you from, and, you know, like what dirt you did. It's like that was out the door. That's like not even relevant to our lives, what we're trying to get right now. We just turn to each other like, man, you know, like you remember, you know, like during this time, like, you know, all the experiences we went through, and look how different life is now. So he's a very humble guy, very cool guy. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
after now, and you know, big shout out to Diversity, because he actually, you know, like hit me up, and then connected and linked me up with Fada Young. So definitely appreciate him for that. You know,
Shout out to the homie
he's a, you
Diversity,
know,
man. Yeah, all about the
definitely.
Asian
So
unity
that's how
movement.
we met.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Uh, right now, brother, there's a lot of Asian hate crime going on in all up in the social media. I see it every time. Is it happening in your area, or what's your experience or your thoughts about that?
In the Central Valley, Fresno, I haven't seen it happen so much. There might be a couple cases and stuff, but you know, I don't foresee it happening, because if it does, I think because Fresno is so diverse, you know, everybody grows up with each other, you know, whether you're black, Hispanic, you know, Caucasian, Asian, doesn't matter. We all live in the same neighborhood together. We lived on the same, you know, block together. So you know each other personally, you know, like one of my greatest friend, you know, like he's African American, and you know, he eats Asian food with me, you know, like sleeps over at my house. I go to,
Yeah,
like, it's just unity, you know, and biggest thing. But the thing is that if it ever does happen in Fresno, what I want to see is that, you know, like us, like the Asian gangs, you know, that actually step up, and whether it's your ops, you know, mom, pops, you know, like wife, kids, whatever, if something
yeah,
happens, you know, like stick up, you know, stand up, because you know we have that power. We have that power to stand up and actually, you know, make sure that, you know, our older age folks, because you know that's what I would want if, you know, my mom was out there, you know, just grocery shopping, and
yeah,
somebody stepped up and tried to harm her. I would wish that somebody see it, you know, whether he's an ops
yeah,
enemy, somebody would want me to step up like, hey, that ain't fucking right. But I, you know, here in Fresno, I haven't, you know, personally seen it, and I wish it doesn't come, because, you know, they choose the wrong people to mess with. They don't choose the right people to give them the right fight. So,
yeah,
you know, with all that, you know, it's like we're all people of color, whether, you know, you're white, you know, black, yellow, you know, brown, it doesn't matter. You know, like we got a color on skin. So there's really no reason for all this animosity and this prejudice and racial things going on, discrimination. So, but you know, it's Asian hate is really out there. You know, it's out there even before our times, before even, you know, like
yeah.
you and I were born.
The perpetrators are punks anyways. So
Definitely.
hard to catch them because they're like they're trolls. They're just attacking. You know what I mean? Is I can get into a long details as far as how I feel about them, but it's really not going to make a difference. Right now, I
Mhm.
just want the other folks to see the bigger difference and put your little feelings to the side first. Oh, they hurt my feelings because they did this to my. Yeah, but we're all Asian. Just look out for your peoples, man. Just don't be stupid. Don't be selfish. That's what I gotta say to all these young cats. Always worrying about their little feelings. I hate those. I hate, for example, MOD, HNS. I hate them. I hate them. But just help your people. Just look. That's the most important thing right now, man. Just that. Protect your peoples. That's how I feel about it in so many short words. Bro, I know you're a very busy person. Before we end this little video, I really appreciate your time. Do you have any last words to the youth right now, the lost souls and people that are just stuck on in the little box? Can you share your experience?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Want everybody to kind of chase a better lifestyle. Um, Not saying that one is wrong. Whatever fits and you love to do, follow with it. But at the same time, the biggest thing is take care of your own. You got kids, family at home. Take care of them because once you do time, whether you want to go out, you don't get the choice to go out. You don't have your freedom. The freedom is the biggest thing that if once you lose, you're at rock bottom. You could be homeless, but if you have your freedom, there's so much more things you do. But once you lose your freedom, that's really when you hit rock bottom. Whether you want to go out, you want to change things, you can't until your time is up. And it's not worth it, because all that time you can never get back. Like those months, years that I did, you know, it's like a big old space, like a hole in my time that it just kind of disappeared. And that, life on the outside went on. People made memories, but I didn't, So don't lose your freedom. Don't lose your time because you'll never get that back. Make use of your time. Once you have, um, an abundance of time, make use of it. Do something productive, whether it's getting into music, getting into school, just working a job just to feed your families. Like all that, making memories is the biggest thing. Making the time last, because you never know, you could be gone the next day. I never knew I was going to get locked up, and all of a sudden, bam, 1 hour later, 1 minute later, 1 day later, that's it. I was plucked from the earth and dropped right into a hole. So you never
Yes,
know what's
sir.
going to happen. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Understood, man. I feel you, brother. Uh, I appreciate your time, and hopefully down the line we'll, kick it, chop it up some more. And
yeah,
with that being said, y'all know what time it is. Say what you mean and mean what you say, because real recognize real, boy. I'm out of here. Yeah. You're looking at, huh?